No, it's fine, babe. I was saying it's not really loud at all. Fix this. But. Alright, let's just. It's fine how it is. Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing Team Kings of Games, and I wish I could like be super hyped for this. I am super hyped for this. I only pulled one, but this man, this card, I was waiting for this because yeah, we're playing it actually in Crystron's. Needlefiber just changed the game, yo. Also changed this deck. The way it's played in this deck, you can't really hate. It's very fair in its own deck. Like if it said a Crystron monster plus a Crystron tuner, it would never even be ban worthy because it's super fair in its own archetype. It's very, very busted though. Outside of its own archetype, but I really love it. It's a problem-solving card. Now you can burn through your activations and not have to worry about saving like Turtle to pop him to summon a tree from deck because you have Needlefiber to do that for you. And in addition to that, the grind game with this card is just insane because it banishes itself, so you can actually bring it back from the banishment, which is just really, really nutty. Like I like it a lot. Yeah, it's a great card. This is my take on Crystron. You guys have seen multiple times of this popping up on my channels, even recently. It was actually, I uploaded a profile like 2 or 3 days ago, maybe less. But it still didn't have Needlefiber. This is 60 card Crystron. I love my 60 card decks. This deck is very explosive. It's combo heavy. It can play going first or second, make and break boards. I always have had an issue with extra deck space, so there's still like cards that trying to like squeeze in, you know, like the All Mirage, the Brionic, the Vermilion. These are more or less like for spot removal when you need to go second. But the deck is just crazy, you guys. It's like you turbo out Cherubini, you turbo out Crystron, Needlefiber. You just make these really like crazy boards that don't always have to be explosive. Like sometimes you can just hand loop your opponent. Like when I was testing like the Neospace Connector engine, it was just like nice. Like if you open Neospace Connector plus a good hand that makes Cherubini, it was like you could rip 2 cards off the Dolphin, rip another off of the Locust, and then end on like, you know, like Black Rose or even like an Omega. Like you can summon Nat Beast plus Gamma Seal, Appaloosa. Just crazy nutty boards with this deck. I love Crystrons. They're my top 5 favorites of all time. It's kind of a headache. It's one of those like people say galaxy level brain like decks like I've seen in comments on my Crystron videos, but this deck is just really awesome. It rewards you for being skillful. It rewards you for being patient. And those of you who actually do take Crystron seriously, I think this is a list that you guys will like. So let's go ahead and hop into my deck profile. So we're going to start off with the starters. I have the deck pretty organized in categories. So for starters, we have 3 Mathmans. Mathman is really powerful in this deck. Him being an Earth is an added bonus because, you know, he helps to make Nat Beast in certain situations he can. Also, in addition to that, a lot of your Crystrons have graveyard effects, and then he also can dump a few of your extenders, like your what's that guy's name? I'm trying to think of it. It's the Sea Archiver. He can dump Sea Archiver. He can also dump one of your copies of Steam the Cloak if you need him to. So you can also dump Glow Up Bulb off of this too. So outside of just dumping Crystrons, he can be a 1-card Needlefiber by itself just by dumping Glow Up Bulb. And you can just make Needlefiber, use Needlefiber to special one of the actual Crystron monsters, or just bring out Steam the Cloak, it depends, and you could just spam. It's crazy. Like, one Mathman can really just, is like, it can almost be a crazy combo. Like, you don't really need a lot of extenders, you just need normally just one, but just Mathman by itself can just be combo. So he's just really powerful. Obviously, Scrap Recycler is good too, but because Steam the Cloak and the Sea Archiver and Glow Up Bulb are not machines, I feel Mathman is just a little bit better. Even though before I felt Scrap Recycler was necessary because, you know, I wanted to play Scrap Wyvern and I wanted to like dump Soul Fafnir. He's more versatile than the Scrap Wyvern is. So definitely want to play him. He's a good starter. He can be an extender if you need him to be, because you don't always need your normal summon to go off. That's the beauty of this deck. It doesn't always need a normal summon. So he can be an extender, so he's pretty versatile and flexible in that regard. And then we have the 3 copies of Undyne. Undyne is naturally a starter. That's how you want it to be, but honestly, if you have any level 3 extender plus this, it can be full combo. And full combo is a variety of different ending boards for this deck. You don't normally end on the same board. That's what I like about this deck. Different hands make different boards instead of like Salads ending on Sunlight Wolf and Traps. Should all decks like Invoke Dolls these days making like the same boards. Spirals ending on like Oppo Sleeper. You know, this deck can make anything in this extra deck practically turn 1 and just pair it with different cards. So it's just really explosive. It's really fun. Obviously, your target for Undyne is a controller. The cool thing is Omega being in this deck allows you to recycle so many things like the controller to resolve another Undyne, which is really cool. So that's a nice interaction that can come up for the grind. so that you don't have dead copies. And then we play the righty-lefty driver engine, 3 righties and 2 copies of lefty. Now, righty is by itself a 1-card Needlefiber or a 1-card Klondike's, or it can just be a 1-card Link 2. This plus any level 3 extender is a 1-card, not a 1-card, but this plus any level 3 extender can make Cherubini. And on the follow-up, you can make Needlefiber, because this is a tuner and Needlefiber, and that makes Cherubini. So opening righty driver with any level 3 extender, it could be Gallus the Star Beast, Defrag Dragon, you know, it could be a variety of things. Even Chronograph Sorcerer, which I play in this deck, which is coming up next, it's a crazy combo. So this deck's just nice. It's all homemade. I brewed all my combos. I thought through all of my theories. I crafted this deck myself. Unfortunately, there's not really a community out there that I know of for Crystron, so I'm really by myself on this, like with building Crystrons and playing them. But I actually kind of like this. I really like the conclusions I came to, and it makes the list more unique, so you guys can see the hard work that I put into this deck, so you guys know that it's me. And then those are pretty much all the starters. They can all be extenders, like I said, because this deck doesn't need a normal summon to go off, but you want them to be starters because they can bait hand traps before you get into the deeper parts of your combo. And then we have 3 copies of Chronograph Sorcerer. The card is a starter and an extender by nature. You can make Cherubini off of it because you can special Time Gazer from your deck. In addition to that, it's good bait for interruptions. And whenever you activate a Crystron's effect to pop something and special a tuner from deck, you trigger Chronograph and you can special anything from your hand. So even after you draw a second Chronograph, it's never really dead. It's really, really nice. I like it. And then we're going to get to the actual Crystron monsters. I just really wanted to show you guys the starters that I played in the deck, because these cards actually lead to the Crystron cards. Like, for example, you can open a handful of these cards with no Crystron cards and use Cherubini to dump this Fern and get access to your Crystron engine, which is really nice. So I like these because you don't actually need a specific hand to go off. This deck can draw like almost any hand in this gas. I really like the variety, the ratios, you know, everything is pretty much, the math is done correctly. You don't really need to draw very specific with this deck. If you open like a Crystron card in any of your 5 cards, it's beautiful because then Cherubini could dump this Fern can search this bad boy, and you can just really go off. You can make Needlefiber, just so many different boards. Just the fact that this is a Crystron card makes it even better because Impact, like this card right here, Crystron Impact targets one of your banished Crystron monsters, and then you special summon it. And the beauty is Needlefiber, to activate its other effect, banishes itself from the field to summon a tuner, a synchro tuner from your extra deck, and then you can bring it back off Impact, and that's just, it's crazy. So in its own deck, it's even better, where like I only have 1 right now, but I can play with 1 using Impact. Obviously, you can't get its effect on Link Summon, but you can still get its effect over and over to banish it, which is really cool. So for the Crystron monsters, I'm playing 3 copies of Sulfafenir. Very versatile with this deck. Like, everything's pretty multi-purpose and isn't always going to have to be a starter or an extender. Sometimes even recovery. Like, any of these cards can also be recovery cards, depending on the composition of your hand, your extra deck, and your grave. They can be recovery cards. This card's naturally a recovery card after the first time you use it. It is an extender. It can be a starter, especially if your Mathman gets ashed. This can be an alternative way to make Needlefiber or Cherubini, because it can special summon either the tuner you need to make Needlefiber or the level 3 you need to make Cherubini, and either one of those 2 links just get you so far in this deck. It's crazy. Like, any hand that can make Needlefiber or Cherubini is broken. It doesn't matter what the hand is. Even the brickiest, ugliest hands I've drawn with, like, you can draw like Gamma Seal and Waterfront and Global plus a Mathman and like a Psychic Wilder, and you could still go off. You could draw 3 bricks and go off with 2 cards. It's crazy good. This deck, like, its consistency is like crazy. We have 3 copies of this Fern. All the Crystrons have grave effects. You can banish them to do A, B, C, or D. And their on-field effects are to target a face-up card, destroy it, and special a Crystron tuner from your deck. You're restricted to only machine-type synchros. You really don't have to worry about that restriction anymore, because Needlefiber can special summon the tuner you need from your deck without you being locked into only machine-type synchros, so your entire board can be generic. So that's the other beauty of Needlefiber, is you don't have to lock yourself out just to get access to your Citri or your Rion or your Rich Homie Quan, which is really nice. And this graveyard effects to search a Crystron monster. Smiger searches your spells or traps. There's only traps right now. But this Fern or Smiger, you just grind it out with them. You'd use this Fern for Smiger, Smiger for Impact, Impact for this Fern. This Fern comes back, then you use this Fern for Smiger, Smiger for Impact. It's an endless loop where you just keep grinding. We played 3 copies of Turtle. I really love opening Crystron cards. This is one of the best ones. And with Needlefiber, now I don't have to save its on-field effect to pop. Because you want to play, before you have to play like Thunder or Orcus, where you have to be careful with your activations, because you only get 1 effect and you can only use 1 that turn. So you have to be careful which grave and which on-field. And normally I save Turtle for the on-field effect to pop him and summon Citri, because you could just do Citri, bring him back, make Quandax. But now you don't even have to be, you can be really reckless now because Needlefiber exists. So this can be an extender now instead of it being the ending board play. It's really nice too because it just unclogs on some of the extra Crystron cards you didn't need from your hand. And it lets you link climb, which I'm trying to go into Gamma Seal plus anything as quickly as possible. I am playing Waterfront in this deck because it's so easy to do it. You make it expeditiously. We have 2 copies of Rosenix. One's not enough. If you hard draw it, then Undyne loses its value because Undyne is also a 1-card Cherubini. You can just normal Undyne, dump this, make a token, use a Link Spider, special the Undyne, special the controller you searched, link those 2 into either Cherubini or you can make Needlefiber. So Undyne's a 1-card Needlefiber or Cherubini. That's how powerful Gen X Undyne is in this deck. So you want to play 2 of this because if you draw it, then you just lose that that combo. And also, it's just a decent card. It's an extender. It helps you link climb to the Scoldred as well. For the tuners, I play 2 Citris, 2 Rions, and then 1 Rich Homie Quan. His level's what's important, and him being a level 1 just gives you better plays with Entry. Entry's graveyard effect's busted. It's really, really good. And its activation's nice too. Quan is also decent because he's the only tuner that has basically the formula synchron effect that doesn't put the materials like basically these materials banish, these materials go into the deck, but this puts the materials in the grave for you to actually have them for follow-up. So if you use him to special with this Fern from your hand, the this Fern goes to the grave instead of being banished or returned to the deck off these effects. Only a Crystron player will understand what I'm saying because not everybody knows all these effects. I don't have time to give you a Crystron Wikipedia, but if you want to play Crystrons, just pick up the cards, read them yourself, and test the deck out. And then for non-Crystrons, basically, those are all the Crystron monsters. So I'm going to go ahead and get out the way. Because the Crystrons are all 1-card combos, essentially. Like this Fern, Smiger, Rosenix, and Turtle are all 1-card combos. Because you can target themselves and bring out the appropriate tuner. So they are 1-card combos by themselves. And so Fefnir plus any Crystron card is nuts. It's really good. Like, especially if, for example, you open Fefnir plus this Fern. That's a 2-card combo that can make Cherubini or Needlefiber. Because you could pitch this, pop him, use this effect, destroy itself, summon out either a tuner or level 3, and then use this Fern, banish itself to search for either a Smiger to make Cherubini or search for a tuner if you didn't already have it to make the Needlefiber. So Fefnir plus this Fern is just like a crazy 2-card combo. This deck has it requires such little, like such minimal cards to go off. That's why you can like have a bunch of bricks and it's fine, but you don't really play that many bricks, and it's a 60-card deck, so it's really nice. It's gas, you guys. I love this deck, and I love it's homemade. Like, this is my own brand of me trying to find my way to play Crystrons, and I love it. I've been playing this for a while, and I showed you guys the Infinite Negate combo tutorial on this. I did build-a-board workshops on this too. We got 3 Gallus. Gallus is insane. It's a good extender. It helps you in time. Helps you to link climb. It's a Cherubini turbo card. It's just really, really nice. And the RNG factor behind it is if you dump any of your Crystron monsters like this Fern, Smiger, Fefnir, Rosenix, Turtle, you know, even a Crystron trap can be good. Like, even if it destroys itself, but you send the traps have grave effects too. So this card just has a lot of value. It's not really marginal diminishing. It's like it actually can like have longevity where after you resolve Gallus, like summoning that Cherubini just gets you so far ahead. You're set up for multiple turns. So we have 3 Gallus. These are the extenders. So I showed you the starters. I showed you the Crystrons. Now these are the extenders. 3 Gallus. For more extenders, we play 3 Defrags. You want to open a level 3 extender because it makes any bad hand crazy and your good hands insane. So these are supposed to be Psychic Willaders. The reason why Wilder's better is because it's a tuner, so you can make Cherubini or Needlefiber with the Wilder, but this can only make Cherubini, but this is just for right now until I get the Wilders. And then we play 2 Arboreus. Same reason, it's a level 3 and a tuner, it's a free summon. It's why I've been tempted to play Almirage, because if you like normal righty driver and it gets Ash or Imperm, you can link it into this and then special that to the zone and you can make Needlefiber, and that's still nuts, but it doesn't come up enough. But this is still, again, you can make Needlefiber or Cherubini. Any hand that can make those cards, you could just go off. So it's basically like a turbo deck, like how you make Electromite and Pilums just go off. Like, it's the same concept. And I do play the one Rayquaza instead of 3 Arboreus. She is a hard once per turn, but having this is kind of like a cool flex spot. It has synergy with, you know, the Cherubini. It's a free pop, and also just going second, it can clear threats. And it does let you actually make Cherubini as well. Then I play 2 Steam the Cloaks. Just in case you draw one, so you still have one in deck to like dump off a Cherubini or special off Needlefiber. It's a great card. Again, another reason why you could play Almirage if you want, but there's just not enough reason because my other normal summons just don't have the low attack value. And then 1C Archiver as an additional Cherubini target, it just helps you to link climb and extend. This is Glow Bulb. I don't have one. I have to have it somewhere. I just don't know where it would be. But Glow Bulb is just so good in this deck. It's how you can make Nat Beast because it's an Earth Tuner, and you have other Earth monsters. Like you have a lot of Earth monsters actually. It's really easy to do so. Like especially when you do righty lefty. Like dude, it's crazy good. So yeah, like righty lefty, you have like other monsters. It's just really nice. Yeah, the one Glow Bulb, and then we have Gamma Seal. Gamma Seal is pretty busted too. And it's part of the Waterfront package, so I guess I'll just leave Gamma Seal, because Gamma Seal is not an extender. So I'll leave Gamma Seal there. Like, you can even normal the Glow Bulb, again, if you have All Mirage. Like, if you have space, then do it. So we have 3 Waterfronts and a Terraforming to get to the Gamma Seal. It's really important for me, because I just want my boards to be protected. So what this deck does is it makes a lot of plays on your opponent's turn. So because you can be interrupted by Call by the Graves, Ghost Ogres, and etc., you really want your plays to go through. So Gamma Seal also makes sure that you can make plays on your opponent's turn. And the beauty with Crystrons with this Waterfront is as you're removing counters to negate with Gamma Seal, you're Synchro Summoning on your opponent's turn, you're activating Crystron Impact, you're putting more counters on this and making it nearly infinite negates. The same when you're using the, for example, NEEDLEFIBER to banish itself, summon the, like any tuner you want, Synchro with that tuner, like Quandax or Desert Locust. That's 2 cards that go from the field to the grave, put 2 more counters. So it's just like Gamma Seal just doesn't really go away. Like you have to have like Dark Ruler or just have a 4K beater or something. But I really like this package. And then I play 1 Foolish. It's like anything you need it to be. Like this makes any dead hand playable. And then my choice of traps, I played 3 Impact and 1 Entry. Entry's activation is really good too because you can actually search the tuner to make it live. And then once it's in grave, it's even better. It can just banish itself, target a Crystron, send 1 from deck, and then change its level to that if it has a different level. So most importantly, you can dump your Thisfern or Smiger if you didn't already have them, and give yourself a follow-up. So it's just a really good 4th target for the Smiger and the Thisfern to just keep grinding. For the extra, we play 1 NEEDLEFIBER. I wish I had more, but I only have 1 in an entire case, pulled 1. Cherubini, Japanese Cherubini, gotta love it. 1 Link Spider, 1 Link Creeble, so that NEEDLEFIBER can make the Skull Dread, because when you open with Waterfront, any hand practically makes Cherubini and NEEDLEFIBER. So when you can make NEEDLEFIBER, you can just summon the Glow Bulb, and then you can just Link Climb all the way up into a Skull Dread, special the Gamma Seal from your hand, and you have Waterfront Gamma Seal. Even if nothing else was happening, you still have like 3 Omni Negates. And you normally search Impact, so you can put at least 1 more counter on your Kyoto, and if you play it correctly, your opponent will put counters on Kyoto for you. And the final link is the Appaloosa. You can end on Oppo, like I said, you can end on like Appaloosa, Nat Sports too. It's just really, this deck's just really fun. For the Synchros, we play Carry On Quandax, Trish. Omega is really important because he recycles your extra deck cards, so you can play one-ofs like Quandax, 1 Dragster, 1 Black Rose, 1 Desert Locust, etc. And just use him to just keep putting them back and summon him again, just keep grinding. And targeting your banished Crystrons, putting them back is just really strong too. So he's just crazy good in this deck. He's better than Borlo Savage in the terms of longevity. And then we have 1 Don Dragster. We have 1 Black Rose. Either one of these are fine. The Crystrons can only summon machine types, so you normally just want to summon Quandax off of them. You want to actually summon off of NEEDLEFIBER the Desert Locust. I like this better than the Wonder Magician, because